Hey everyone, this is P4L, and today's P4 review will be taking a look at the newest Masterpiece figure from Takara Tomy. This is their MP-27 Cybertron Security Ironhide, the beefy old-timer from our favorite arc. So let's go ahead and get started with packaging review as always. And by and large, this is going to be the same packaging that we always get with the Masterpiece series. This time we get the nice Nissan logo. It's a Nissan Cherry Vignette. And then we get the same kind of alt mode, robot mode on the front. Top, side, we get some alt mode action going on here. Other side, we got some robot mode action with his kind of, what is it, fire extinguisher hands or whatever he had, liquid hands. Some stuff on the bottom, another official licensed product. And then on the back are the, regular promo shots that we get, showing off the different modes, a ton of accessories. I mean, this guy just has a crap load of accessories, unnecessary amounts of accessories, I would say. That's really about it. I did want to show off just how big this box is because of all the accessories that it comes with. It is slightly longer, taller, and even a little bit thicker. So very fitting of the larger Ironhide. So let's go ahead and get him out of packaging. So unlike some of the other Masterpiece cars that we got before, we actually get two sets of trays here. This one actually comes packaged underneath, taped underneath, and it's all basically the accessories that go to his hands and back and his face, while these are his weapons and his sled or battle platform, whatever you want to call it, and then obviously Ironhide himself. So that's really it for packaging, but I did want to talk about one other thing, and that is the exclusive coins. So this is the Asia exclusive coins. For Toy Dojo, if you pre-order with them, they always throw in these exclusives for free, like the Amazon Japan exclusives or all these coins. So it's always a great idea to order, pre-order from Toy Dojo. Most companies end up charging extra for this, and if you don't pre-order, you actually do have to pay for this, even at Toy Dojo. But pre-order and you get this for free. So you get obviously the nice Vignette front, which is also the chest. And on the back, you see the jetpack, which you do get as part of the accessories, the plethora of accessories that he comes with. And then you open this up, and you get a really nice Ironhide face. Actually, I think this one's a bit better than the one that is actually on the head. And then you just open that up here, and then you can get access to the coin. But yeah, I just wanted to do a quick review of that, of those of you who collect that like I do. Oh, I did actually talk about the instructions. I mean, the instructions are decent. They tell you basically what you need to know. And then you have the stack card here, which I should have opened up before I started shooting the video, but yeah, the stack card in there is in the new style, artistic style, as you can see here. I kind of miss the old style. And then you have his stats here. That 3 is speed. I actually looked it up to see what it was. Poor Ironhide. The instructions are actually quite big. I think they're bigger than normal, and they go through a lot of the detail for transformation and such, and then all the different accessories and stuff up here. Yeah, sorry, it's hard to get all this in frame. Alright, so let's get to the good stuff, all the things that you skip to when you watch my videos. So first and foremost, let's look at the accessories. I've gone ahead and installed them, I guess quote unquote installed them, or stored them in the sled slash battle platform, which obviously that's a homage to the G1 toy, how part of the transformation had the back of the car actually form into kind of a trailer battle station a la Optimus Prime on the G1 toy and in most other iterations. But you get a ton of stuff. You get 2 twin handguns, which remind me of, I think, the guns that Ratchet actually used in the movie. You have the Ratchet-like blaster here as well. You have a couple of jetpack effects, which work in conjunction with the jetpack here in the center. And then you have this little radar dish, which is kind of a sensor that he uses in conjunction with this little piece of paper. Yep. And then you have a series of options for his hands. These are two different types of, I guess, what they call liquid exhaust or liquid, I forget what they exactly call it, but things that shoot out his like fire retardant stuff, and then his hands, which also fire out stuff. So yeah, you have a ton of those accessories, and then hidden on the bottom is an area where you can peg in the spare face that you're not using. So the bottom is not obviously at all what the G1 toy kind of looked like. It would actually look like the back of the car or van mode, but they do kind of mimic it here with the faux sunroof. Overall, the accessory stand battle station is kind of a cool throwback, but not really useful in any particular way, in my opinion. Oh, I didn't talk about this big missile launcher. It does come in two separate pieces, the missile itself and then the missile launcher, and that's articulated as well, and two joints, and that can spin around and so forth. There are all these other extra peg holes that I'm not really sure what they're used for, and then these kind of slotted areas. Anyway, let's just go ahead and get rid of that for now. So with the alt mode, it's a very nice looking alt mode. It does look a lot like the G1 toy as well. So it is fully painted. Well, maybe not fully painted, but most of it is painted. It does have some nice details, like on silver on the handles, and this paint detail, which is actually three different colors of like yellow fading into a brownish tan color along the side here. It looks a little low to me, but I could be remembering that wrong. Some painted details here, chromed out bumper, exhaust, and bumper up here, and headlights, which is nice. Nice Autobot logo with a metallic paint on there as well. On the bottom, you do get a bunch of leg action going here. You see the thigh and crotch and everything like that, and his kind of iconic lower part of his chest. His wheels, a little bit of hollowness here. Nothing major though. It's actually quite compact given how big he ends up being. And then he does have windshield wipers. I think you might be able to unpeg them, but I'm not going to mess with mine. And windshield wipers up here. He has a faux sunroof. It's just painted kind of a metallic gray blue to mimic these translucent blue windows, which I actually don't like at all. But some people like it. And behind this one, you actually see a molded version of the G1 toy ugly face, the stickered face, which is a really fun throwback, so I appreciate that. Things I don't like about this mode are the back window. This half window, which obviously isn't accurate to the car, is actually accurate to the G1 toy, but I actually wish they filled that in with a blue window, because it just looks like it's missing something. And then because it's translucent blue, like there's some arm pieces in here that are butted up against the window, and it makes it look like a purplish color or something like that. So very minor things, I guess. It does have a very clean bottom, which is one thing that Voodoo Toys, a lot of people didn't like about their Ironhide and Ratchet. Speaking of which, I guess I can do a very quick comparison with, so this is Voodoo Toys Salus, their Ratchet, and you can see they're by and large pretty similar. Both very accurate representations. This one kind of going with the darker gray, translucent, a little bit more, I guess, in line with some of the other cars, and I guess more realistic. But they're about the same height. I think he's slightly taller. They're about the same length. Actually almost exactly the same length. And as far as width goes, yeah, they're almost exactly dead on the same dimensions. But you can definitely tell this is painted in nice glossy colors. They didn't paint this area here, which is kind of weird. These two pieces. But otherwise, it definitely gives it a more premium look to have everything painted and have the chrome as well. I'm going to actually do a more detailed comparison with between these figures in a separate review. I'm not going to waste everyone's time doing that because you might not be interested in that. Another comparison is with Road Rage. And the paint looks a lot shinier, glossier to my eye on Ironhide, and a little bit more vibrant. This one's a little bit darker, but red is red, I suppose. One last thing, they showed this off in the promo images, but just to show you whether he can fit or not, he does barely fit inside the MP10 trailer as far as clearance goes. It's a little tight. He might be scraping just a bit, but he does fit in with minimal resistance. Another thing I wanted to show off is that there is some weapon storage. So any of the 3 handguns can plug their handle right into this spring-loaded tab here for kind of a weaponized alt mode. Again, these 2 can also fit in there. The handguns can also store right underneath the car or van, like so. This one can sit a little bit deeper. There we go. So they also have that option. And then they get kind of stuck in here, which is very annoying to get out. So yeah, that's the only weapon storage or accessories that you can really use in alt mode. I did want to mention that I wish this gun was a little bit more detailed. The other guns are quite nice and very reminiscent, have some line work, but this one really doesn't have much. It looks just pretty plain. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into alt to robot transformation. Let's just scoot out just a bit and get up here. So first thing you'll do is come to the back, and there's this whole section here that will tab and then flip up on this hinge here, and then a second time on this hinge up here. You're going to get it to kind of 90-degree angles. Next, I'd like to pull down on the legs just a little bit, or the rear just a little bit, to release these tabs on either side of the van mode. And you're going to rotate this out like so. And then this arm section also rotates once again, and that actually tabs in. Before you rotate it all the way up, I just want to deal with the rest of the hands. You're going to open up from here, flip out the fist, fold this panel down. Oh no, I'm sorry, you're going to want to extend the elbow, fold this panel down, and then this will actually tab in to create the forearm. And then you can get this all the way up like so. Same thing on the other side, so let's go ahead and get everything around, tabbed in, open up the arm, get out the fist, extend the elbow on this really tight joint there, close up that part, and then tab that part of the arm in. This is going to go up like so. So he's going to kind of look like this. Next, we're going to deal with this upper part of the chest. It's actually kind of an accordion piece, several pieces here. So the instructions make it look like you just pull straight out, but you actually kind of unfold it all, unaccordion it. So once you have that, you can fold these tabs down to lock in the shoulders. There we go. They do a decent job. It's not too tight. And from here, you're going to kind of reverse that accordion like so. And make sure that these windows go overlap these. Like so. And then you're going to get this all the way situated, all the way back. So this this part butts up against the shoulders. and it'll look like this. And that's by and large a lot of the upper body. Right now, you're going to untab the front of the vanette and pull that up. And once you do that, these two tabs will kind of go up there. And that will kind of complete the... Oh, before you actually do that, you want to come down here and flip this down so you get kind of the iconic ab piece here. Then you can tab that in. And then the upper body's done pretty much. You're going to want to raise the arms. And it's weird that you actually have to flip them down like that. It's kind of not intuitive. It makes for a weird looking shoulder, but we'll get into that later. So what do I like to deal with next? Oh, so I like to deal with the hip panels. I just want to get them out of the way. So they're on sliding joints. Just pull them straight out for now, and we'll rotate them later. Coming down to the lower leg, the first thing I like to do is deal with the wheels. So the wheels, you're going to need to kind of tuck them in here, but you need to push out on the wheel first and then bend at that joint, and that will allow you to fold everything in, like so. If you just try to fold it in like this, you're going to get interference. So you want to go out on this inner hinge, fold this in, and then fold that in. Let's go ahead and separate the legs too. It just makes it a bit easier. From here, we're going to untab this outer panel. This is also on kind of a weird double hinge that causes some clearance issues sometimes. And that's going to go ahead and fold around and form the back of the leg. And then one other panel is going to be at the top. That's going to fold all the way around like so. And then this is where you're going to start seeing some clearance issues as well. There's actually a little lip here on the inside of that hinge. You're going to actually have to pull out on that just to get clearance for this, and clears the other side and it's fine. That makes me nervous. This panel is a little thin, and also since it's fully painted, this is actually is hitting the painted side, which I don't like that kind of clearance issue with a painted figure. The heels, get the bumper and just flip it out like that, and then come around to the toe. Just rotate that around, and you have to rotate it a specific way. So you rotate it towards the inside of the leg. You're going to extend the knee slightly, and then flip the leg around to the correct orientation. So on the other side, we're going to do the same thing. We've already folded in the wheel. Get this panel on that double hinge flipped around. Get this panel down, making sure to pull this hinge out to give you the clearance needed to get there. Flip out the bumper, flip the toe around, and that kind of feels like it has a notch in place. Extend the knee joint, rotate that around, and then at the hips you can get all the way around like so. From here, these side panels that we telescoped out are going to rotate towards the back, and then these pieces have small tabs. You're going to fold this in, and it's going to go into these slots here, but it's easier to kind of get them started and then start telescoping these or collapsing the side pieces in, and then you can feel for basically getting those tabs in. And that's how you get the ass wheels. At least that's what I've been calling them. Get the arms down like that. Okay, so here we have Ironhide in robot mode. One of the things you can see is that he looks kind of goofy, and I've not... It's no secret that I don't really like the look of this robot mode. I think it actually looks pretty horrendous in almost all angles. Like looking at the front, you get some weird hip panels here. He looks kind of awkward. He also has a lot of inner leg kibble, and then you have like some paint details from the outside on the inner side of the leg, which is kind of weird. The legs themselves are just basically blocks with the exception of this here, and it just makes it look very, I guess I've been putting it as too cartoon accurate, where that they didn't take any liberties of adding some extra details that they weren't obviously going to animate in the cartoon, but they've been doing that with the rest of the Masterpiece line, just adding details where you may not have seen it in the cartoon, but it's kind of intuitive that there would be more details than just big chunks of just solid straight lines, like these legs. And I just think they look awful. The feet, I think, look awful. And I think this is a case where you're being too overly loyal to the source material to the detriment of the figure. Along the back, while it's relatively clean, there's no backpack. It's pretty clean here. It does have some ugly legs, and it even has some molded or branded leg identification or product ID right here on the leg. I mean, that's, you know, Hasbro does that a lot with their figures, and they print something on there. At least you can remove that. This is actually imprinted or molded in, and then you actually see some other molded sprue marks on here. So it looks kind of bad, honestly. I don't really like that. The wheels here can spin around, so if you like that. There's also a big gap here. You can see it from the side a lot better. Like, he just has a whole chunk of him missing, and it's right below the head too. It looks really, really awful. The hip panels we've already talked about. I don't like the big diaper here. It just looks too big. And people say it's G1 accurate. I think the shape is G1 accurate, but the size just looks way, way too big. I think the head looks proportionally a little small based on how big this figure is. And I think his head sculpt is actually quite nice, except that I wish it were bigger, like wider. This looks just way too thin for a guy who's kind of beefy and maybe even husky, as if you wanted to put it. Like, given how big his frame is, his face just looks too small. It just looks really unnatural. Let's see, what else is there. His arms do have these big windows on the side. Not a huge deal. I mean, they're on the back, so I don't really mind that. They also sort of cover up these hollow hollow triceps, which also bother me quite a bit. I think they could have done a better way of hiding that. And then the only other thing I'll complain about, because I know I've complained a lot, is that I don't like how the upper body is made. The upper body has, so if you look at it straight on, you can see what I'm talking about, or even at the angle. The way the transformation works, you have the front of the hood getting wider as it goes down, but then you have the rest of the body getting wider as it goes up. And then you get this weird kind of hourglass shape on the upper part of the body, and it just looks really weird. It just looks awkward and has a gap there. And while I think the transformation is pretty interesting and kind of fun to do, it just makes the robot mode sacrifice a lot. I really imagine him as being pretty blocky, so to have this kind of weird hourglass chest and then having these weird hip panels looks really, really odd to me. Oh, and the shoulders. The shoulders are also kind of weird in that because of the way they transform, you have this weird cylinder that you see here, and then you have a rectangle there. It just looks kind of odd. And then even on the inside here, you don't even have a block for the shoulder or whole cube. You have this cutout here. So a lot of nitpicks I have about this figure, and I think at certain angles he can look okay. Here you can see the gap here, but otherwise he looks decent here. But he just looks kind of goofy to me. Yeah. Anyway, so those are my major qualms with this figure in robot mode. Some of the cool things that you can do though, or you can make use of a crap ton of accessories. So he has this missile launcher that can plug in the back here, which is supposed to be reminiscent of the G1 toy. You can obviously use the guns, which have the Masterpiece tab that go into the slots in the hands. Of course I would have trouble getting this in on camera. There we go. Holds it very well, very straight. No issue with that there. He has his jetpack, which can also plug into that port. And you can do that with or without these jetpack effects, which will plug into the bottom. And these remind me very much of the SH Figure Arts effect parts. And it actually looks pretty cool as a jetpack. Shoo! He has his forearm antenna piece or sensor, which you can plug into either arm, which has a port. And that's where this comes in. This is supposed to be recreating a scene. You can untab this and slide this in like so, and it recreates a scene from some episode. I don't even know what that's supposed to be, and I don't really recall that episode. So, yep. What else are there? Oh, and the rest are all hand accessories, for the most part. So to work those, you open up the arm panel, flip in the fist as if you were transforming it, and then it reveals a tab here. And then you can use any of the figure's accessories to tab in. The downside of this is that you don't have any rotation capability, so you're always kind of limited to this. You can't, well, I guess you can flip it 180 degrees. You can have them down like that. I don't think you can, yeah, there's no way to plug it in this way, straight on. These seem really redundant to me, and I don't know why we needed so many of them. And I don't remember this red one, this cylindrical one at all. But again, I don't remember a lot of stuff from the cartoon. This sled is also comically small compared to what it was in the show and on the G1 toy. But whatever, it doesn't really matter. I'm never going to use it. So let's get the hand back out. So by and large, the robot mode is the biggest disappointment for me, and which is sad because, I mean, I'm mostly displaying my figures in robot mode, and this one doesn't scream Ironhide to me, or doesn't scream a good Ironhide to me. Let's go ahead and talk about articulation real quick. His head is on a swivel. Well, actually, is it on a ball joint? Yeah, it is on a ball joint. Sorry, I apologize. It's on a ball joint. He does have a head switching feature, which I didn't show off before. I guess I can do that now. It's pretty innovative. The way it works is you actually don't have to remove any screws or anything like that. You just push on this crest forward, and this ejects it. And then you just take the other head, the other face, and push that back on. And you have his, what they call in the instructions, his crying face. Don't know about crying, but he is yelling. Now I'm gonna want to draw like the lines on his face to make him look like he's crying. Anyway, so that's his head. His shoulders are on those exposed ratchets, and because of the way it's formed and is attached, you can't get his arm to go straight up like this. You can kind of fake it and push his arm like this, rotate it up like for transformation, and then rotate the bicep swivel if you want to kind of get the arms raised pose. But yeah, you're just kind of making do with what you have. He does have a very tight bicep swivel to the point where this ratchet actually has me concerned. It kind of reminds me of the MP Rodimus ratchet, and just trying to do the bicep swivel makes it come apart. I feel like this is gonna break. Like, it shouldn't be coming apart that easily. And there's also ratchets going out this way, but there's a lot of play in them. They feel fragile to me, which is a little concerning. He does have an elbow, 90 degrees, and then his wrist swivels on a kind of mushroom peg, I guess. Molded hand with only all 4 fingers pinned at the hand. No individually articulated fingers, which is a bummer. He does have a waist swivel, but it doesn't go all the way around, but it definitely goes around more than enough, a sufficient amount, without any interference. He does have hip skirts that move up, which are also distracting from the already ugly waist, but that allows you to go basically 90 degrees forward. He doesn't have that much going back, honestly. He has this much, which doesn't bother me too much because you don't really use that much back, I don't think. The hip skirts really do interfere with him going out very far. He does have a nice knee bend, almost 90 degrees. He does have ankle tilts going inwards, and then a tiny bit of forward and back. And you can make his ankle, his toe, because of transformation, you can make it go out like this, but you can't make it go the other way, so it's pretty useless. And then the heel is just in place. I guess you could fold it down if you needed to, but you can't fold it out. So not really any heel articulation either. Yeah, I think that's it as far as articulation goes. I don't think I missed anything. For comparisons, let's bring out MP10, which is required. And I think he's too tall for me. Like, and going back to the skill chart, he's really supposed to be kind of like mid-chest-ish. And he's really at basically the top of the chest here, or shoulders, depending on if I had the shoulder straight. He would be actually as tall or a little bit taller than Optimus Prime's shoulder. Another comparison with the Voodoo figure. So a lot of people were complaining that Voodoo was too tall. This guy's even taller by not that much, but a decent amount. Definitely noticeable. And then these guys are, and again, I'm not going to do a full detailed comparison in this video, but I wish there was kind of a middle ground between these two, because the crotch is too big here, the crotch is a little too small there. This one has no molded detail. This maybe has a little too much molded detail. The head is a better size, I think, proportionally here, but the face sculpt, I think, is better there. The chest comes out a little too far for me here, and the backpack comes out a little. It doesn't bother me, but it comes out more than this backpack here. So it's kind of like a middle ground. I wish they had a middle ground here. On the back, you have windows down here, or you have windows up here. So it's just weird that they're very similar in size in alt mode and robot mode, but they do it very differently in very unique transformations. And then they have design choices that are kind of opposite ends of the spectrum that I wished they could kind of fuse together. Somebody asked me to weigh these guys, and again, I'm not doing. I'll do a detailed comparison later. But somebody asked me how much heavier this guy is than him, and so MP, the official, is a whopping 0.3 ounces heavier than this guy. To put that in perspective, that's about the weight of a quarter. So basically the same weight here. So I'll get into more detail about these comparisons when I do that separate video. When I do that detailed review or comparison, I'll go ahead and link it here or here or here or here or maybe everywhere. So you guys can have a more informed decision and detailed comparison there. I did also want to mention that some Chinese user, I think he was Chinese user, posted some heavy modding that I shared on Facebook that really fixed a lot of the qualms I had with this guy. It fixed the ass wheels by taking them off and building some custom pieces that allowed them to sit and fill in this gap here, which was really nice as a twofer. And then it also did some modding with the waist to get it reduced in size and then lifted up to make it look a little bit more compact and really reduce the size of the diaper, the quote-unquote diaper. It also did something with the upper body, like I think it had the same complaint. They had the same complaints that I did, that the kind of getting wider as it goes down and then getting wider at the shoulders, weird mismatch, and I think they did something there. But by and large, those series of mods, while they were really heavy mods that required a lot of cutting, like non-reversible modding and custom parts, it resolved a lot of the big issues I had with this figure. So I really hope a third-party company comes out with a mod kit that allows us to kind of implement a lot of those changes, because that would really be great. So let's go ahead and get this guy back into alt mode and then finish off the review. So the first thing I like to do is, I like to work in sections. I don't like going back and forth. So let's go ahead and deal with the upper body first. So we'll deal with the arms. Open up, where is it? Open up that panel. Fold the fist in. You're gonna actually want to straighten this out. Straighten the, collapse the elbow. Ow. And then close it up. You're gonna go up and back. Let's just repeat that here. I always forget which way these open. So go ahead and flip the fist in, flip this straight, collapse, collapse, go all the way up and back. Just untab the shoulders pieces that hold the kind of struts, I guess, that tab the shoulders in. Go ahead and pull out, untab the ass wheels, straighten them out, telescope this out, and rotate it downwards for now. We're going to go ahead and pull on the upper part of the chest, flip this piece down. We'll just kind of get this down and tabbed in. And we're not going to deal with this just yet. So the rest of the upper body, we're going to go ahead and pull up on this, making use of that double hinge. We're going to come up. There's some clearance issues here. There we go. Collapse that on itself, like so. And then leave this straight up like this. And then we'll flip these down in a little bit. Now we'll come down to the lower legs and deal with all this. First thing we'll do is flip the toes. Flip in the bumpers. Then the side panels. So the side panels are like well, let's rotate these first. The knees. The side panels are here. These are the pieces that you're going to have that clearance issue with. Remember to push out to get that clearance. And we can flip this up. Then we're going to get this panel on the inside. Just pull on that, making use of this oddly designed double hinge. Again, you're going to want to pull out on this first before you rotate it, otherwise you're going to run into interference here, collision here. And then fold that back around. And then you can pull out the wheel. Get that straightened. Same thing on the other side. Pull out on this panel to get this panel up and around. Extend this to get it all the way around and tabbed in. Get out the wheel. Then we can get both legs tabbed together, and we're going to rotate the entire thighs and lower leg up, like so. At this point we can finally telescope in those hip panels. Oh, I didn't collapse the knees. You're going to want to do that, and that will get everything in the correct position, lined up. You can collapse the legs, the knees, really at any point during this transformation. Alright, so now that we have these arms, untab them, kind of fold it up like that, and then you're going to have some clearance issues here. You're going to run into this corner. You might have better luck if you kind of come at it at an angle, but I'm not really sure. But I always have problems here, and I know I'm going to start scraping paint once I do this transformation enough times. But once you get this all rotated down, there's a series of tabs along the bottom. And you just want to get that kind of worked in. Same thing on the side here. Remember to untab the shoulder first. And then as an entire unit, you're going to get that down. Again, some clearance issues here with the windows and side panels. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but I always have issues with this corner here. And then you're going to flip this down. All those tabs will go into place, and then just push that to close that gap. And this is as close as I can get to getting it nice and tight. For some reason I have a serious gap here that I cannot close, and it's just on that side. This side is not fine, but I guess better. But yeah, there we go. We have Ironhide back in alt mode. So final thoughts. This is a really nice looking figure. I think it feels quite solid. There are some pieces that have a little bit of fragileness in terms of that leg panel, in terms of some of the exposed windows, translucent pieces on the chest, and when you have to like pass two of the windows together to form the chest. Just be careful about that so you don't cause any damage to those windows or break them, just because translucent pieces tend to be pretty fragile. But he feels really solid. The paint everywhere does help give it a really premium look. Not all Masterpieces feature a fully painted robot in alt mode, like Wheeljack didn't. So it's really nice that they've gone back to that. And he just feels really nice in hand overall. The robot mode is where this guy really suffers, and unfortunately that's the thing I care more about than the alt mode. And I've already gone through the series of reasons why I don't really like the aesthetic of this, but a lot of people do, and I would say that this guy definitely looks a bit better in hand than in the pictures, but not by a lot. So Voodoo is still going to be my go-to display pieces, but I collect Masterpiece, so these guys are going to be displayed somewhere. Maybe they'll be the only ones that I have in alt mode as well. So I'll leave these guys in alt mode and then keep the Voodoo in robot mode. I do wish they had their side view mirrors. It's kind of random that they didn't have them, considering that they typically include them. But maybe they, I guess for transformation it would not have worked, or I'm not really sure. I'm trying to think about it now. I mean, it should have worked if they attached it to this front piece. But yeah, for the price though, that's the one thing that this guy definitely has way over Voodoo. Obviously it's an official figure, so it's going to be considerably cheaper, but you get a ton of accessories with it, like all these guns, this weird platform, the other face, the jetpack. What else do I have lying around here? This stupid cardboard piece, this gun, this missile launcher. Well, I'm not going to use a lot of this. If you find value in this, you're getting a ton of stuff with this Masterpiece figure at like $90 plus shipping is kind of the retail price here in the US. It's a good deal, like $30 cheaper than the Voodoo toys, I think. So definitely getting a lot more bang for your buck, I would say, with this figure, if this stuff matters to you. If you don't care about any of this, or care very little about this, and you like the look of Voodoo better, I actually think that might be a better move for some people. That's kind of where I'm going with mine. But that's a long-winded way of saying it's a great figure. If it works for you, definitely get it. You get a lot of value out of it, and obviously it's official, so I'm going to collect it. So keep your eyes tuned. I'm going to try to shoot the comparison video between the Voodoo toys and Ironhide very shortly, and then maybe have them up almost simultaneously. Alright, if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you liked the video, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to add this guy to your collection, if you haven't already, go ahead and click on the Toy Dojo link, and you can pick one up for yourself there. Alright, that's all for today, everyone. Have a good one.